Welcome back. Well, we are now joined by Gabe Rockers with Edward Jones. We're going to be talking about inflation in retirement and kind of mitigating that, or at least trying to alleviate that. Gabe, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you all for having me and allowing me to sponsor this segment.
Of course, our pleasure. So today's topic, inflation can be shocking in retirement. Of course, inflation can kind of be a potential financial risk for those heading into retirement and for those who are in retirement. And I want to take a look at this survey done by AgeWave and Edward Jones recently, that 63% of retirees think the biggest financial shock in retirement is inflation and the rising cost of living along with that, Gabe. So it's clearly at the top of mind for a lot of retirees. What can we do to kind of alleviate that shock of inflation?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking me. And of recent years, inflation has become a huge concern for even people that are still working, as prices continue to escalate or go up at a above average rate. So first, I'd speak to what is inflation. Inflation is either a reduced purchasing power on our dollars. We're able to purchase less with the dollars that we have, or just simply the fact that expenses on the things we purchase keep going up. And so one of the things that a retiree has to deal with is going from working income to now a fixed income. And so as those prices continue to go up, it's no surprise that nearly 2/3 of retirees find that to be the biggest headache in retirement. And so a few things people could do is, one, look over your budget and see if you can cut down on any expenses. It's going to be very difficult to cut down on the bills, unless you don't turn the lights on or you stop using water. Those utility bills aren't going to go down much. But really look over the discretionary side of your monthly budget, i.e. eating out expenses, travel or entertainment of other varieties would be the first places to look at to see if there's any way you can reduce what your cost is and allow your money to last a little bit longer.
Right. So we want to make sure we're finding areas where we can cut back a little bit. Every little bit helps. Even things like subscriptions. I would look at what subscriptions we have that's just coming out that maybe we need to go back and look at. What else do you have?
So a second thing that people can do, as long as they haven't been retired for too long, if our retirees are in their mid-70s or even 80s, this becomes more difficult, but would you or could you consider some part-time work? And if you went and got work for a few hours a week, suddenly you would have some more cash flow that would help alleviate some of those monthly expenses and or would help preserve some of your retirement savings for needs down the road. Now, if people have filed for Social Security before they've reached their full retirement age of 66 or 67, they need to be mindful of income rules surrounding Social Security benefits, because if you're not at full retirement age and you earn too much, potentially they can start garnishing part of those Social Security benefits as well.
Okay,
then a third and final thing that I would speak to is review your investment portfolio. It's very common that retirees de-risk as they move into retirement. That makes sense to us in the advising world. But you can't afford to de-risk too much and go just simply to fixed instruments. You've got to own some growth, i.e. some stock or equity ownership, so you can grow some of those monies for the future needs down the road. I would also, recommend people look at their fixed income and make sure that in today's interest rate environment, their fixed income is producing equitable or fair income. And so if we review those things and make sure you've got the right mix of growth and income instruments, that can also help reduce your longevity risk or reduce the pressures of inflation.
Absolutely. And you guys over at Edward Jones can help nail this down for a lot of people who want more information. How can we reach out to you?
So we're on the South Belt. Anybody that's down near the Tractor Supply or Walmart can pop in here any day and introduce themselves. We'll gather a little bit of information to try to understand what questions or concerns you have, and then set a time to meet and dig in a little deeper. Or obviously you can go on the Internet of Things. We've got many local branch offices here around the area. You can find any of us and make a call.
Excellent. Well, again, Gabe Rockers with Edward Jones. Gabe, thanks for joining us today.
Again, thank you all for having me. I hope everybody has a good week.
Of course, you too.